We all know that Sonic is fast, but if you do the math, the blue hedgehog should be able to do something we've never even seen before. So let's get technical. Why was there a little bunny in a robot bee? Sonic has endured many nerdy analyses over the years, like those from Living Taco endorsement Vsauce 3 and the OG MP himself. But while their videos are interesting and their conclusions are interesting, usually something about Sonic's top speed, as far as I can tell, no one has reapplied these conclusions to Sonic's world to see what the consequences would be. Well, that's where I come in. What impressed me most when I was playing the games as a kid are going through the loop-de-loops and made you feel all fast and cool and stuff. Well, I'm here to say that you can use these ubiquitous loop-de-loops to calculate a speed for Sonic and then use these physics to show that Sonic's abilities must be much more ridiculous than, say, Jim Carrey ad-libbing through a trailer that no one really liked in a handlebar mustache. Let's take this step by step. How does a speedster like Sonic complete a loop? Let's consider a perfectly circular Green Hill Zone style loop-de-loop, our simplest option. Now, drawing from various in-game materials and references, it appears as though Sonic is only 1 meter tall, around 3.2 feet, not very tall at all. Now, when I take this height and I apply it to the original game, it looks like it takes about 3 Sonics to reach the center of this loop-de-loop, making the whole diameter of it just 6 meters, not very wide at all. And this is gonna have a surprising effect on speed. Checkpoint. Sick. Now that we know the basic size of a Sonic loop-de-loop, or at least the general size, we can think about the forces involved. Here's a question. How quickly would Sonic have to run to stay at the top point of this loop? Well, in this reference frame, there are 2 forces acting upon him. At the top of this loop, there is, of course, Sonic's weight, which is his mass multiplied by the acceleration due to gravity of whatever planet he is on, and then there is also, opposing this force, a centrifugal force, which is forcing Sonic towards the outside of the loop. Now, this isn't a real force, but in this frame of reference, we can consider it to be so. I ask again, what is the minimum speed Sonic has to go knowing these forces? If the centrifugal force is any less than the force of gravity at the top of this loop, then gravity will be stronger and it will begin to pull Sonic down. So if we set these 2 equations equal, we can get the minimum speed required to stay on the edge of the loop, even though Sonic would basically be weightless. And if we do that using the equations of motion for the acceleration as you're traveling in a perfect circle like this, we can solve for the velocity at the top. And if we do that, we get the square root of gravity multiplied by the radius of the loop. And notice that this isn't even dependent on Sonic's mass. Why was there a little bear inside of a robot bee? A robot bee. Oh, I get it. That's fun to say. Like we said, the size of Sonic loops will have a surprising effect on speed. We estimated the radius of the Green Hill Zone loop to be just 3 meters. If we plug that in with Earth's gravity, because we're doing estimations here, then we can get the minimum speed Sonic would have to travel at to move through the loop. You know, the thing that's supposed to make him look all fast, and then we get 5.4 meters per second, just 12 miles an hour. You could do the Green Hill Zone loop on your bicycle, and many humans have done loops on bicycles and skateboards and even their feet with loops about the same size. This is not very fast at all, but at least this small value does fit with analyses from Five Nights at Freddy's meme, a sentient one, MatPat. But I did say that everything was gonna get more ridiculous here, right? So now, why don't we figure out what happens at the bottom of this loop? Matt, stay back. Matt, stop haunting me, Matthew! If we use the power of physics to get expressions for all parts of the loop, we will see the results of Sonic's true speed. Yeah, I'm Eggman. It's time to look at Sonic's energy. No, not like big ring energy, like real energy. Let's look at our loop again. It will be easiest to consider Sonic's energy at 2 points. The first point when he enters the loop, and the second point being at the top of the loop. Now, what are the energies involved here, like when we're looking at the forces? Well, at the bottom, he will have some amount of kinetic energy because he is moving. And at the top, he will have, yes, still kinetic energy, but because he's presumably above the surface of some planet, he will also have gravitational potential energy. Now, if he is just spinning around a loop, continuing on his speedy way and not adding energy to the system, then these 2 points should have the same amount of energy. Set these 2 energies equal to each other, realizing there is no potential energy at the bottom of this loop, and we just solve for what velocity at the top of this loop is in terms of these variables. And so, doing some substitution and some solving, the minimum speed Sonic has to enter the loop with to make it to the top with the minimum speed is right here in this equation. It should be faster. Wow, a blazing 27 miles per hour. That's kind of fast, sure, but it's not even faster than the fastest human. Geez, a movie studio should spend millions of dollars and months of time fixing that. Ah, my rings! But don't fret, Sonic fans. Sonic is obviously way faster than that, no matter what I calculate. Recall our equation that we just came up with. Inside of this is something rather fun. Look at how the velocity, the entrance velocity, is tied to the radius of the loop. And so if we do a bit of gymnastics here, we should be able to rearrange this equation and pick any ridiculous Sonic velocity that we want to see how huge of a loop he could theoretically run. There we go. We can use this simple equation to see what Sonic can really do. If we give the spiky blue dude the benefit of the doubt here, he should be able to run a loop that goes all the way to space. The loops in the original Sonic games are lame. You want to know why? Math. In a previous episode of our live program, we calculated that the new Sonic, take it away. There we go. That the new Sonic, based on the trailer, could move at around 160 meters per second. This is much, much quicker than what we calculated before. It's about half the speed of sound. And if this is valid, how big a loop could Sonic actually run? Well, pop quiz! Oh, and remember that the total height of the loop that you get will be twice the radius that you calculate. Pop quiz. If Sonic really was this fast, the correct answer here is over 1,000 meters. This is a kilometer-tall loop. This is unbelievable. We're saying that this little dude who doesn't even come up to your waist, he could run in a loop that is 30% taller than the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building on the planet. But why stop there? What if Sonic could run at actual Sonic speed? The speed of sound, or 343 meters per second. Well, if we plug this into our equation, then Sonic would be running loops half as tall as Everest. But why stop there? Spikes! On the Sonic Wiki, which I get the sense is kind of weird, it's stated that Sonic has been known to travel at hypersonic velocity. Hypersonic velocity is a regime of fluid flow where if you're not perfectly designed to handle the forces involved, this velocity will rip you apart. If we plug this into our Sonic loop equation, we get a height value of 120 kilometers. That's 75 miles, and I can't even really show you the scale of this right here. If Sonic was a hypersonic hedgehog, he could complete a loop that literally went beyond the edge of where we define space to start 100 kilometers up. Just look at that. To give you a sense of how massive this structure would actually be, even though Sonic is traveling at Mach 5 here, it would still take him over 3.5 minutes to complete this megastructure loop. This would be one of the most impressive things Sonic has ever done, aside from collapsing to public outcry about a character design, and it would be science-supported, kinda. Just like the scientific fact that Knuckles is in fact cooler. If Sonic really is as physically fast as stated in pop culture, he would be way more bonkers than anything we've seen before. I know there are limits to game design and movie scripts. No one wants to watch a hedgehog run around a loop for 3.5 minutes, but come on, who doesn't want to see a little spiky blue dude run a dang space loop? Because science. You may have gone around a loop-de-loop in your life too, just like Sonic, but they aren't designed like Green Hill Zone loops. Instead, they're what's called a clothoid loop. So it has a smaller radius of curvature at the top than it does at the bottom. So it kind of looks like an oval rather than a perfect circle. And the reason why roller coaster engineers do it this way is with the tighter radius of curvature at the top, you don't have to go as fast to make it all the way around. And if you don't have to go as fast at the top, you don't need to go as fast at the bottom, which means you don't need to go as fast overall. It means your people don't pass out on the ride. Would Sonic pass out in his... Another episode.